Welcome to a shipbuilding guide. Let's get right into it. In order to modify a ship, you will have to speak to someone at the shipyard. Now this will open the menu where you can choose between your ships, go into the shipbuilder, or simply just upgrade your ship. The upgrade option is the fastest way to change components in your ship, so let's have a look at this first. Now at the bottom you can see all the important components that you can upgrade on your ship. Now if we choose the weapons, we can see all the other weapons we can swap it with. The component you choose will also be highlighted. Now this also works, for example, with a grav drive, which will give you a greater jump range in that case. But as you can see with the engines here, it can also give you engines that are not as good as the ones that you already have. If you want to have more upgrade options, you will have to go to the shipbuilder. So let's swap the ship and go into the shipbuilder. And the first thing that I did notice that this ship has a little warning down there. Now we can go to the flight check and see what it is. So it tells us we have low mobility and we need to either reduce mass or add engines. So let's try to add an engine. Now some modules are bigger than others, so for this one we need a smaller module. As you can see, there is a free place for the engines, but you can't connect it, probably because it should go to the end. But in order to do that we need a structural element, so let's grab one. Now I'm having a little bit of trouble to get it to connect to the ship, but we can fix that by using the R and F buttons to move it up and down. But only adding one engine on one side looks a little bit silly, so let's duplicate it by pressing Ctrl G. Now the engine is facing the wrong direction and we can fix that by pressing Z. This will flip the engine. Now we've added a lot of mass to the ship and we've reduced the jump ring. In order to fix that, we need a better grav drive. Now we could try to add a second grav drive, but this is not allowed by the game, as you can see by these arrows. So let's get rid of the old grav drive and add the new one. Now the game is still not happy with our choices and we need a better reactor. Now the problem is, even if we get the best available reactor, it's still not sufficient. In order to unlock better reactors, we need at least a piloting skill of 3. And by the magic of video editing, I can get that right now. So now that I've unlocked the skill, I can get the better reactors. So I've tried to add the biggest reactor, but this didn't work because some of the engines got unattached and also the docking module was no longer at the highest point of the ship. As you can see, the grav drive doesn't have connectors to the side, so that's why the engines were no longer attached to the ship. So let's fix that. Now of course we don't have to stop here. We can add some habitation modules for more crew or just amenities. So there are some modules that give you more passenger slots. But I chose a control station because it gives you more crew stations, so that the people on board will actually give you some bonuses. In addition, I added some windows. So let's talk about weapons. Now there's some important stuff when it comes to weapons. So you can only have 3 different types, and what I mean by type is the exact same model. So you can have 3 different models of weapons. And another important thing to know is that you need to assign these weapons. Now this can be a little bit hard to find, but when you press C on the flight check, there's another tab where you can assign those weapons. Now there's a lot of other stuff that you can add to your ship, for example cargo space for a bigger inventory, or helium tanks to increase your jump range, and lots of structural elements that are mostly just cosmetic. There's also the option to change colors of modules. There are also some limitations on how long and wide and high you can build your ship, as you would expect. Now there are a few more things that you should pay attention to while building a ship, especially those error messages that will give you some idea of what's wrong, because there are a few more limitations that I did not go into in this video. There are also some bugs with this. I think it happened because I didn't change my home ship, so both ships got spawned in the game. The one that I changed and the one that I had before. Another thing that I did notice, that all the clutter that you have in the ship will get moved into the inventory, but at least for the starter ship it seems to respawn after a while, so it's a bit of an exploit. That's it, and thanks for watching.